Were you contacted by people from media sources in the United States as well as internationally?
Yes.
And after you spoke with the detectives and gave them information that you had about what happened inside the residence that you knew of, later in the months of July and August, did you give any interviews to any media sources here in the United States?
Yes, I did.
And what media interviews did you give?
In the United States?
Yes.
There were several. Today Show, Good Morning America, Inside Edition, Larry King.
Ms. Chase, did any of those organizations that you described, did any of them pay you money for your interviews?
No.
Did you also give interviews to foreign media outlets during the time of July, August, September of 2009?
Yes, I did.
Can you describe for me the types of media interviews that you gave? And for example, did you give an interview to a German TV network?
Yes, I did.
Will you describe that for me, please?
That was the focus of that interview was based around cooking, and it was based around the food and the love that was shown that Mr. Jackson provided for his children, how much he loved his children, the types of meals that you made, what does he like to eat. Those were that was the focus of the German interview.
And were you paid for that interview?
Yes, I was.
How much?
$1,000.
Did you also meet with a France documentarian, someone in France creating a documentary about Michael Jackson's life?
Yes.
Overruled.
And was that also in the July and August time frame?
Yes.
What was the focus of that interview?
The focus was the same. The focus is about the love and the food, or the food and the love.
And that would be the food and the love that you experienced or you were aware of Mr. Jackson and his children, in your time as a personal chef for his family, correct?
Absolutely, yes.
And were you paid for that interview with the France network?
Yes.
And how much?
The same, 1,000.
Germany, Venezuela, Japan, Russia, and the Netherlands. 5 other interviews. Did you participate in those as well?
Yes, I did.
And what was the subject of those, if there was a general theme for all of them?
The focus was always the same.
Overruled.
The focus was always the same. The world loves Mr. Jackson.
The focus was always the same as the answer. Everything thereafter is stricken. Disregard the remainder of the answer. Listen carefully to the question. Answer it only. Next question.
Thank you. Ms. Chase, is it accurate to say that the focus of each of these foreign entities from around the world who contacted you requesting interviews, the focus was you as a personal chef and your experiences and your knowledge of day-to-day living with Mr. Jackson and his children as it relates to cooking?
Yes, it was.
And were you paid $1,000 for each of those interviews?
Yes.
So in total, is it accurate that you've been paid a total of $7,000 for participation in these foreign cooking-focused interviews that you gave back in July and August of 2009?
Approximately, yes.
Any other interviews that you participated in related to your activities as a personal chef for Mr. Jackson and his family?
No. Not that I can recall, no.
Ms. Chase, what was your purpose in participating in interviews involving your experiences with Mr. Jackson?
Overruled. You may answer it.
My purpose was, the focus of the interviews were basically interviews and cooking segments. I did a lot of...
That's the answer. Next question.
Thank you.
Did you ever have an intention to try to get rich or make money off of your experiences working as a personal chef for Mr. Jackson and his children?
No.
Thank you. I have nothing further.
Ms. Brazil, thank you. Cross-examination, Mr. Flanagan?
Sure. Ms. Chase, you learned to cook in France?
Yes.
You got the job with Michael Jackson in March of 2009,
Yes.
and you indicated you worked 6 days a week.
Yes.
What day did you have off?
Sunday?
So I take it you weren't there for breakfast on Sunday, May 10th.
No, I was not.
How often did Mr. Jackson come down for breakfast?
Mr. Jackson came down for breakfast periodically.
Well, what's periodically mean to you? Give me a certain number of days per week.
Maybe twice a week.
Twice a week? And what time would he come?
Yes.
What time would he come down for breakfast?
Around the same time that the children would come.
What time did the children come down?
Around 8:30, 9.
So Mr. Jackson was coming down at 8:30 or 9 twice a week.
Yes.
The other days of the week was breakfast taken up to his bedroom.
Yes.
So most of the time he was just eating a cold cereal type breakfast. Is that correct?
It depends. It depended on what he wanted. You know, what he felt like eating that day.
But you'd get there at 8 o'clock in the morning,
Yes.
and when you arrived at 8 o'clock in the morning, was the gate usually shut?
Yes.
How do you get in the gate?
There was a buzzer at the gate, so I'd buzz.
Okay, and that buzzer is, was it a code that you could just push it and the gate would open, or did you?
No, it was a call box.
Okay, so they would answer, you tell them who you were, then they'd open the gate?
Yes.
Would somebody come out to greet you?
Yes.
And would be, like, would it be Fahim or Alberto or?
One of the security guards.
Okay. When you went there on the 25th, you buzzed the gate? Somebody let you in
Yes.
and came out to greet you?
Yes.
Did you park there in the driveway or did you park by security?
I parked by the security booth.
So you drove around the right side and parked adjacent to the security booth?
Yes.
And you'd go in the kitchen entrance?
Yes.
How would you get in the kitchen entrance?
I'd have to knock on the kitchen entrance door.
You knocked? Mm-hmm. Okay, and was the door always answered by, say, the children?
On this particular day?
Well, what was the normal? Who would normally answer that door so you could get in the kitchen?
Well, sometimes it would depend. The housekeepers were there, the children.
Okay, so the housekeepers were there at 8 o'clock?
On that day, no. But
Okay.
On occasion, yes.
Okay, on the 25th, you buzzed, gate open. Who escorted you in?
Security.
Who?
I can't recall the name.
Was there? Who was it? Who was generally there? What list do we have to choose from as to who it could have been?
Objection vague.
Sustained. The partial answer stricken.
Do you know who Fahim is?
Yes.
Could have been him.
I don't recall.
Okay. Do you know who Alberto is?
Yes.
And you don't know whether or not it was him.
I can't recall now.
What other people were there at security usually in the morning at that time?
It varied. Day to day, it varied.
Okay. Who else besides Fahim and Alberto?
I don't really know the
Do you
names.
recall any of their names?
Excuse me?
Do you recall any other
No.
names? Okay. Did you have the ability to phone that residence?
No.
I mean, what if something happened to you and you were not able to go to work? Would you have been able to phone and tell them you weren't able to come?
I was able to phone someone, yes.
Who would you phone?
Michael Amir.
Okay, is Michael Amir Williams, that is the only phone number you had?
Yes.
So everything kind of went through Michael Amir there, is that correct?
For me, yes.
And there were no landlines inside the house that you were aware of, were there?
I'm not aware of that.
And you probably didn't have a phone contact with the security trailer,
No.
except if Michael Amir was there.
I had phone contact with Michael Amir, and that was the only contact that I had.
Okay, so you wouldn't have known how to call Alberto or Fahim or Michael Jackson
No.
or the nanny inside.
No.
Okay, now, on the 25th, you got there and you were escorted in by someone, and when you knocked on the door, was it the children that answered?
Yes.
And then you went in and went to work.
Yes.
And you were preparing breakfast. Did children have breakfast that day?
Yes, they did.
Okay. And they ate that day without their father.
Yes.
And prior to 12 o'clock, had you seen Dr. Murray?
No.
Had you seen Mr. Jackson?
No.
But you were aware that the security trailer was occupied?
Yes.
Okay. Now, once you get in the door, the entrance to the kitchen, or as the entrance that you used, how far was it to get into the kitchen?
A few steps from the door.
From you to me?
Excuse me?
Was it as far as from you to me
No.
as we are positioned right now?
No, it wasn't that far.
Shorter?
It was shorter, yes.
That distance is about 18 feet or so.
Okay. And once if you went out that kitchen door to the security trailer, how far would that be?
That would probably be from where I'm sitting to maybe the middle of the courtroom.
So you could have walked from the kitchen out the door to the security in the same time that you could walk from where you are to maybe out this door here.
Yes.
Now, you were paying attention to time, and it was about 12:05, and you saw a frantic Dr. Murray.
Yes.
What caused you to think that he was frantic?
His actions.
Well, describe his actions.
He was flustered. His eyes were big. He was screaming, and he was panicked.
And what exactly did he say?
He yelled, "Go get help. Go get security. Go get Prince."
Now, how old was Prince at the time?
Approximately 12, 13?
Okay. Did you think this was an emergency type situation?
Yes, I did.
What type of emergency did you have the feeling that this was about?
I was very uncertain of what type of emergency, but Dr. Murray's actions were very panic-stricken, and that led me to believe something must be wrong.
Okay, so when he said, go get help, get security, get Prince, what'd you do?
I dropped what I was doing, and I ran into the den where I saw Prince to go get Prince.
How far was it to get into the den?
Probably from where I'm sitting to where you're standing.
Okay. And then,
15 to 18 feet.
and what did you say to Prince?
I said, "Prince, Dr. Murray needs you. There may be something wrong with your father."